The Jersey Swap podcast is sponsored by Apollo Home. Folks, Apollo Home wants to remind you that Cincinnati is not Miami. Winter has already reared its head, so now is the perfect time for you to get your heating system checked out. We're bringing back the $29 coupon for CST listeners for your furnace tune-up. And as always, keep them in mind for any electrical or plumbing needs. Give them a call, send them a text, or schedule online at apollohome.com. Okay, folks, welcome to another supercharged episode of the Jersey Swap. I hope you guys are testing your tickers after the last weekend. Take a deep breath. We have a full international break to deal with before we can focus on the next round. But an extra week means we can do some extra recon of our next opponent, Inter Miami CF. They roll into TQL Stadium on Sunday, November 23rd for the conference semifinals after steamrolling over Nashville in match number 3. It might be difficult to stop the GOAT, but maybe we'll try to figure out how to stop the other 10 on the pitch. Can we do the improbable? How can we hand Miami another L this year? To discuss that task at hand, we have with us this week Kris from the Battered Herons. How are you doing, Kris? Try to get you unmuted here. Here you go.
Doing phenomenal, Jeff. You're my favorite Jeff with a G. Thank you so much for having me. And as far as the jersey swap, I'll swap jerseys, but not jackets. I got to keep them. It's getting 65 degrees down here, so got to make sure I stay warm.
Oh boy, 65. Can we trade fan bases just for a week? I mean, we've got 32 as the high, I think, from Monday and Tuesday. It was ridiculous up here.
Oh man, that's fantastic.
Let's hope we have some better weather coming in about a week and a half or so. Well, I mean, first of all, congratulations. I don't know if congratulations are in or thank goodness, or what are your thoughts after surviving that round?
Well, it's not even surviving that round. It's just surviving Nashville, because we've been playing them essentially for 4 weeks. Decision day, we had Nashville plus the 3 games in the series. I'm like so tired of Nashville. I'll never visit for the next year and a half, probably. I don't know. I wouldn't go there because it's just I'm tired of them. It was daunting, but at the same time, like, Nashville is who we thought they were. We scored 14 goals against them throughout the, like I said, throughout the 4 games. And then they only scored 5 goals in 4 games. So it seemed like it was more competitive than it actually was. But handedly, I think we took care of them, and happy to be past Nashville and moving on to the next round for the first time in Inter Miami's franchise short history. So
yeah, welcome to the club. I mean, it was a few years ago that we managed to get through things and figure out how to get rid of those 3 wooden spoons that we had in our case. Maybe before we go on to talking a little bit more about Miami, I'd mentioned that the international break is rolling around. From my perspective, it's a little inconvenient. I wish we could play this weekend, keep the momentum. But what are your thoughts in terms of having this week off to play?
I think it's awful. I think it's probably one of the worst things you could do in the middle of, I guess, the most heightened and important time. And if there's anything about like American sports culture, is playoffs are like the golden goose for these, for these leagues. And to have like this just dropped poop of an international break in the middle of all that, it does lean the question of, are people going to be paying attention when they come back? I think it's an awful idea. I don't know why that happened. I mean, I kind of do, but at the same time, I feel like there could have been something done about the 3 games in the first round. I think that's a disaster too. It's MLS has got some work to do still.
Yeah, and they've got some work. From what I understand, on Thursday they're going to be discussing the whole fall to spring schedule change and a single table issue. No idea what that's going to happen, but
I mean, I think that's another disaster too. Like the Canadian Premier League just had 42,765 pounds of snow in the middle of the pitch. You got guys running with shovels all over the pitch. Like, what's going on here? The goalkeeper is like helping out. You can't see anybody. A guy does a bicycle kick. You could barely see what's happening. Whoever wants this schedule change, I mean, I guess I understand to make it sort of sync with Europe and stuff, but that's not the way to do it. Vancouver, God bless your heart if you play in Vancouver.
I mean, if we got a Tundra ball going together, maybe, I love the orange ball concept. I loved it when they used it with the U.S. and Costa Rica in Denver, but
yes,
not for Vancouver versus Minnesota in the middle of winter. They need to tweak the system a little bit, but I don't know how they're going to do it correctly.
Yeah, I don't understand, but we'll see how that works.
That's, neither here nor there. We'll see what that news rolls about. But let's talk a little bit about Inter Miami in a nutshell. I mean, it felt like this year was, I wouldn't say drastically different, but definitely a growing pain in terms of trying to figure out how to maintain momentum. It feels like Miami sort of hit a similar wall that maybe we hit last year. Has year 3 of Messi sort of felt any difference performance-wise than any of the previous years?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because year 3 of Messi, actually, surprisingly, he's been playing more games than he did last year. So, in my opinion, I think it's great he wasn't injured like he was last year. Last year, you had 8-9 game span where, we had to get carried by Julian Gressel. And now, at least thoroughly, Messi has been playing throughout the entire season, and it shows. I mean, he's the Golden Boot winner. He's the MVP. I mean, he is who he is, and you can't be able to take that away from him. As far as like the changes or anything like that, I think that significantly the actual squad is a little worse than it was last year. But surprisingly, we've been able to kind of maintain and still hold on to being one of the higher seeds in the East. So that's something that's refreshing to see.
Do you feel like, as a fan, that maybe this is more of an impatient period, or any frustrations, or any expectancies? Or
so there's a high expectancy. We blew it in the CCC. I mean, nobody expected us to get out of the Club World Cup as champs or anything like that. But I mean, I guess people see that we did well in it, so there's your participation award. Leagues Cup, we didn't win that. So all these trophies, like, we on the Battered Herons, we predicted, or we estimated that there would be trophies, plural. The ownership literally said this year there will be trophies, plural. So far, this year, the cabinet's empty, and the only thing that's left is the MLS Cup. So if you're asking if expectations are high, yeah, we need to walk away with this cup, or it's a complete failure.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of the same feeling here. I mean, I think the expectation when you bring in Evander, when you bring in Denke, and to some extent you pad the stats with Brenner coming back all of a sudden, expectancies are through the roof. This feels like it should be an MLS Cup. It's never going to be an MLS Cup, but it feels like it could be that.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really thoroughly enjoying that the MLS in general and teams in the MLS are really starting to take a shape and actually make the movements to be better, right? You have LAFC where they got Sun. You have, Cincinnati made the move to get Evander. So it's like, these are great things that are making these teams so much better and raising the level in the league. And I think it's fantastic. This matchup is going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, on paper, yes. We'll see when it actually goes into motion. We're expecting a humongous crowd. Maybe one last thing I sort of want to add to it. I mean, we heard about Messi getting the contract extension. Yeah, I mean, it's great that he's going to be in the league for a few more years. Yes, we hope. Does the extension sort of change the perception of whether or not the season could be a success?
So I think what the extension does, I think it just solidifies that we're going to have Messi when we move into the new stadium next year. because that's when we're going to be in Miami proper, right? Not like in
Right.
Broward County. Instead, we'll be actually in Miami. I think regardless of whether he plays next year or the year after, I think that the expectation doesn't change not one bit. We have to walk away with with the MLS Cup this year.
Okay. I mean, we would like to as well, but of course there are 6 other teams that will say, "Hey, we deserve it as well." It'll be
But
very
think, but
interesting.
let's But think about that though, Jeff. Like, imagine if your team has one of the greatest players of all time play for
Mhm,
you for the last
mhm,
2.5 years and you don't get an MLS Cup. Like, regardless of what you kind of put around him, yeah, you won the League's Cup and Supporter Shield, but like, is that enough? You know what I mean? Like, just looking at it from a broader perspective, like not as an Inter Miami fan,
mhm.
just like broadly, if you're looking at the situation, you're like, wow, he's not bringing an MLS Cup to a team. This is like the GOAT. So that's the insane part about this whole thing.
I mean, you're talking to someone who's seen Lucho Acosta bring his best stuff to the field. Even in 2021, when he was first starting with us, we saw
Yep.
flashes of brilliance before we could get a really good coach who knew the MLS system behind him. We saw 2.5 years of his best stuff, and we saw Columbus pull down an MLS Cup in our face the same year
Yeah.
that we won the yeah, we feel you, man. We I wish that we had like a detour sign coming here and we can just skip to the MLS Cup.
Of course, yeah, most definitely. I mean, the good thing about Messi, and I'm sorry to if I'm cutting in between,
Mhm,
but I guess the good thing of the one of the biggest things about him is the eyes that he's bringing to the league, because me myself, I became a fan of this team before Messi, but I hated soccer, I hated
mhm,
football. My friend invited me to a game, and I've been addicted ever since, and I bought season tickets. There's people out there that are watching because of Messi, and 20 to 25% of those people, if they stick around and watch MLS, pick a favorite team,
mhm.
that's a win for the league. So
I'm s-
that's a good thing.
I'm certainly hoping so. I mean, we saw what happened when Beckham joined the league for
Yes,
just a few years. It changed the landscape. We saw what happened
absolutely.
when Zlatan joined the league. It changed the landscape again. Hopefully,
Mhm.
this is a humongous change for the good, especially if Messi can stick around for the extent of the contract and even more. I heard that he wants to be a club owner. If I
Absolutely.
heard that
Yes.
interview right today.
Yeah, there's something out there where he's like a percentage owner of Inter Miami. That thing has been out there since he signed. I haven't found it anywhere. I don't know how much percentage he's getting. I don't know how true all of that is, but I do think that there's something out there that's stating that he's going to be like a percentage owner. So we'll
Mhm.
see how that works.
We'll see. That's more in the future than anything. Right now, the goat is here. It's
Yeah.
great that he occupies our league. But let's talk about some other arrivals to your team. I'm sort of fascinated by the arrivals of DePaul, Rodrigo DePaul, and someone who's sort of lurked underneath the radar that I really didn't notice until recently, Matteo Silvetti. Could you maybe talk a little bit about them joining the team and how that's changed the team since their arrival?
Well, talking about people that I haven't noticed, Rodrigo de Paul is one of them. Rodrigo de Paul, the unfortunate thing about him I mean, he's coming from Atletico Madrid, and Rodrigo de Paul. For those of you that play FIFA, he's like a rare gold card. Like, this guy's a good player, right? He has accolades. He has good skill and stuff like that. Comes to the MLS, you're like, oh, this guy's gonna blow everybody out the water. But I don't know. I couldn't see him. Like, I watch him and it's like, who's this Rodrigo de Paul guy? Is this the guy that you told me about? And it's just he's not playing as well as he was touted out to be, right? It could be
Mhm,
a mismanagement of Macherano where he put him at the wing instead of centrally. But then when he was centrally, he wasn't playing well. I think he had his best performance game 3 against Nashville. A lot of people like to say that he played his best against Seattle. I'm not sure. The good thing is that he's starting to play better now.
mhm,
So if he does live up to the skill set that everybody was accustomed to seeing, I think it's going to be fantastic. Now, Silvetti, he's a guy that absolutely jumps off the screen. So he's a person that I would say, yeah, this guy is going to make a huge difference. And luckily, he's been hitting strides ever since he got here. And then even after that, he played with Argentina. He came in and just hit the ground running. So he's a guy that's a super explosive player, very active on defense, very aware and keen on offense. So he's a fantastic addition to the team.
He sounds like maybe, I mean, could you compare him to anybody in particular? Or, I mean, is he better as a second striker or a single striker, false nine?
So he's been getting played sort of at the wing position because we typically play with Messi and Suarez as the double strikers at the top.
Mhm.
Um, so he's been playing more of a winger position, and last game he played as a striker because Luis Suarez was suspended.
Mhm.
Um, but even then, I noticed just when I was watching from my perspective on the field, it looked like him and Allende, who's the other sort of wing guy, were kind of up a little bit more, and Messi was playing the 10 role. So I felt like that worked pretty good because you had the young guys hustling and bustling up top, pressuring. But we'll have to see what Mascherano's cooking up for you guys up in Cincy.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, I don't think there's been too many, double-headed striker systems that have been put in place against us. I don't think
Yeah,
we saw that really with Columbus. It felt at times that Rossi was definitely the false nine. He didn't belong up top there. When they brought in
yeah,
Russell Rowe, it felt like he was just the lone striker as well. So we'll see
yeah.
maybe the 4-4-2, how that works against the Cincinnati defense.
Yeah, I mean, and luckily you guys, because Rodrigo de Paul and Busquets are Rodrigo de Paul and Busquets, they're going to start every time. So you
Mhm.
guys are probably going to be lucky enough that you're going to be able to avoid the best center midfielder named Yannick Bright, which he's a guy that I forgot to send over to you to kind of go over. He is a guy that literally was making $80,000 a year and a Happy Meal as a bonus, like the cheapest contract that Inter Miami has. They just re-signed him for bigger money, so that's great. But ever since they re-signed him, he's been hitting the pine and hasn't played as a starter because obviously Rodrigo de Paul and Busquets are who they are. So
Do you feel like, I mean, I might be jumping the gun on this question, but do you feel that Bright could be sort of an X factor in this game, a
oh
super
my
sub to come
goodness,
off?
that 1,000,000,000,000%. Like I think he would have the best capability of playing against Evander.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I mean, Rodrigo de Paul does as well if he feels like it. If recently he's felt like it, so maybe it'll pan out. But Bright just plays and he plays and he's out there to destroy people, and it's fantastic.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been fascinated with Miami's youngsters. I really like what they bring in. Allende, even Rodriguez on the other end.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see what this team looks like when you see the likes of Jordi Alba and Busquets hanging up their cleats
Yeah.
after the season is over. It is a shame to see them both probably, I wouldn't say in their prime, but definitely feeling like there's still a lot in the tank. I mean, could you imagine them coming back for another year if pushed, or is this definitely it?
Well, I think it's definitely it. Jordi Alba actually extended his contract like a couple months ago, and then all of a sudden he just says, "Surprise! I don't want to play soccer anymore." Now Busquets, I get it because Busquets, you could tell that he's a little slower. He's reacting a little bit later. But I mean, Jordi Alba literally had like I don't know if it was like a bicycle kick like a game or two ago. He's like one of the fastest running players on our team. And this guy is planning on retiring. I think that there's just something else personally that he's probably going to be doing in Spain. But the good thing is like I said, we have Yannick Bright that'll replace Sergio Busquets, and then Noah Allen, who's currently our center back. His main position was actually left back. So he's probably going to fill in that role. If not, they're probably going to find some, Inter Miami's probably going to find some guy that, speaks Spanish to play left back at some point.
The Jersey Swap podcast is also sponsored by Beyond Exercise. Beyond Exercise is a local physical therapy and fitness business that helps people stay active and injury-free. In fact, they help some of our local MLS, MLS Next Pro, and FCC Academy players with their health and performance needs. Check out their suite of services at gobeyondexercise.com. Well, let's take a look at how things are going to probably line up. I pulled out the lineup for match number 2 against Nashville, mostly because Suarez is in that lineup. This was, of course, the scene of the mule kick, the quote unquote mule kick, to Andy Nahar.
It was absolutely a mule kick, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could see in the replay, he literally mule kicked him. He knew exact for those of you that think he didn't do it on purpose, you're a liar. And he absolutely mule kicked him. Absolutely. Almost got him in the sack. So that's a bad one.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't catch it at the game, but they caught it eventually. So
yes,
he is back though. So I mean, I've been hearing at least, and maybe this is just a topic to get people to talk during the international break. Does Suarez start this, or are you foolish even to bring up the subject?
So here's the thing, right? As far as big changes made, Silvetti came in just because of the need. Suarez, number one, regardless of whether he scored a billion goals this year or not, you can't deny the fact that he's one of the better playmakers on this team. He has like 10 or 11, 12 assists this season. And as a front man to have that many assists, that means you know what you're doing with the ball and you're looking around without having to look around. So you can't replace that kind of class. Baltasar has basically won the job at the left wing over Talasco Segovia. And then you got Allende, who that's Mascherano's baby. He's going to stay out at the right wing. The biggest changes really is you got Ian Frey playing at right back position. He completely stole it from Marcelo Weigand.
That's right.
And then we got Ustadi, who used to be our goalkeeper, but he's like 4,700,000 years old. So Rocco Blocco is just the man with the master plan playing goalkeeper. He's been great.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see like Drake Callender, his injury, and then his fall from grace. I mean, obviously, with a new coach, you definitely have people that see things differently, and eventually, he was dealt at the deadline. But I mean, you feel that Novo is definitely there to stay. I mean,
so I can't tell you that Rocco Rios Novo, aka Rocco Blocco, is our future. I don't know if that's the case. I just know that Ustadi is not our future. So for sure, it's not that guy. The thing, unfortunately, about Drake Callender is when he got injured, I guess, training with the U.S. national team, ever since then, he just wasn't right. He was down. He had surgery. And at that point, he already was sort of on the decline because last year he was on the decline after having that fantastic year in 2023, winning the League's Cup, where he was the goalie that faced off against what's this guy that wears the helmet in Nashville?
Panico.
Yes, where he faced off against Panico just nailed it into the corner, and then all of a sudden blocks Panico's kick. After that season, he hasn't been the same since. I actually am happy for Callender because I think that after Charlotte's goalkeeper leaves, I'm pretty sure he's going to get the starting spot.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I mean, it was even some whispers that Callender had U.S. team aspirations.
Yes.
Now it looks like it's more Freezes and Turners sort of to grasp at the moment. So he might be buried underneath, strata and layers within the depth chart there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned, players like Drake Callender, like he's one of the biggest departures. I know you wanted to cover a couple other departures. I mean, yeah, David Martinez and Leo Alfonso. They left, they got traded. Leo Alfonso's got some time with Atlanta, and Federico Redondo, he couldn't get out of here quick enough. That guy was one of the biggest floppers, I think, for Inter Miami, and that's considering that his father was, a big player in his career. Redondo, just bright, who's making a Happy Meal with, a McFlurry, took his job. You know what I mean? Kremaski went over to play for Serie A with Parma. He's a player that I kind of wish we still had. And one of the other players I kind of wish we still had was Robert Taylor. He's in Austin, just rotting away.
Yeah.
I think if he was to have gone to Cincinnati, he would have been fantastic.
That would have been an interesting choice, that's for sure. I mean, we had already gotten Yedlin from Miami in the past. It would have been interesting to see that pipeline reopen for Taylor. I'm not sure how he would have fit, but it would have been, I think, perhaps a block to the likes of maybe we wouldn't have gotten Ender Echenique. We wouldn't have gotten that. I'll bring up our lineup that we're expecting for this one. I expect some changes, perhaps, or at least have a little bit more depth in the bench. Matt Miazga should be available. He has been training. Granted, he's still working on getting onto the team, but I think even if he's not available, the confidence that we have in our back three after that last game is through the roof. Teenage Hadeb has really risen up the ranks and quickly produced some good, solid defense. Miles Robinson's proving that he can be that captain, that silent captain in the back. And the Ender Echenique, I cannot emphasize enough. He gives you speed for days. He put Max Arfsten into a bag and sealed it up. He was not able to do anything in match 3 against us. And then, of course, Brenner. I mean, he has rejuvenated his career just by coming back and taking a pay cut for half a season. Whether or not he's able to stick around, whether or not the system allows him to stick around, that's something to be said. But if he can sort of be that person, if he can be that striker that drums up a hat trick out of nowhere, he can take off every article of clothing that he wants. I don't care. He can walk around with just the cleats on, but I think he's my X factor in this one. He's got to perform. And if he performs, that means no one's paying attention to Denke or Evander. So any way that you can take attention away from your stars by having a star accelerate, that's, I think, the way that you beat this Miami team.
What's funny is I was thinking that Brenner is probably the player I'm least worried about up front. I think Denke is more of a threat because he's a bully. And we got smaller center backs. So, like, if there's a player that can be a bully out there, and our center backs are pretty strong too, but Denke walks around with a couple of what is it called, with dumbbells on his arms. So, he's out to destroy, and I feel like he can be a problem, especially if he can be able to open up some space for himself.
He's definitely got like a 10-pack. He's not a 6-pack. He's got a lot down
absolutely. There. He's a unit. He is a unit.
If he does go one-on-one against Noah Allen, I do worry about the defense on Miami's side. But of course, our defense has to step up too. We're playing against a few bona fide goats out there. So it's going to be great to see everything in action. The 23rd can't come fast enough. I think for me, myself, I'm going to be going to the Bengals game before that game. And then I get to watch the best player in the world at a 5 p.m. on a Sunday. I'll take it.
Fantastic.
I'll take that every day of the week.
Yes, that's fantastic.
So let's bring it down. And we're getting, we're sort of petering down to the end of this podcast. Let's bring you into what a realistic result could be. I mean, I think both of us, we're expecting our sides to win, but maybe just to pry into how you feel, the vibes check and all that. What do you feel is a realistic result in this game?
So if I'm going to sit here as a player that or as a fan that doesn't have a side to pick, I would look at, okay, what's the history? I
Mhm.
recently looked at the history, and funny thing is we're basically undefeated against you guys up until Messi got here.
Yeah, that was
And
weird.
then, yeah, that's super weird. I mean, that's going to be a trivia question at some point. After Messi gets here, we basically lose. We okay? So I'm looking at it here. We tied with you guys 3-3.
Mhm.
Then in 2023, we lost 1-0. We lost 6-1. We won in August of 2024, 2-0. Then you guys beat us earlier this year, 3-0, and then we
Mhm.
tied 0-0.
Yeah.
Historically, you guys have been kicking our ass and taking the names. Now, the thing is, I would also look at, for example, your guys' home record is worse than your away record.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we've been doing pretty good away. So I would honestly think, if in regards to, without any bias, I think that this game could be a tie, 2-2, and then go to penalties. And I feel like maybe you guys can be able to edge it. And this is, of course, without any bias, that you guys would be able to win, because even though me, the fan, I don't like Salentano, I do see that he is a good goalkeeper. So I would probably say that you would probably win in penalties.
The reason that I sort of see penalties coming our way is because we've seen the blitz that Messi can cause. I mean, that
Yeah.
3-3 draw that you talked about was the US Open Cup
Yes, it was.
semifinals in 2023. We were up 2-0 real early, and then the
And then Messi arrived.
yep, he checked in. He took his the key to his room. He stole everything out of
Yes.
the fridge, and left. Luckily, Yuya Kubo snuck a goal in added time, and we were able to bring it to penalties. But you can only do so much in penalties, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm a little afraid. I feel that while we have some semblance of a goalkeeper, I don't know if we have the goal takers.
Yeah.
I'm a little cautious about who ends up getting brought in late in that game. Um,
Yeah.
so I think it's just going to come down to who can Noonan shuffle about and bring in that can take all 11 of these kicks successfully.
Yes, absolutely. I think that unbiased views are going to see that this is going to be a competitive game, and that this can go down to penalties.
Yeah. If you're Cincinnati, you have to win in regular time. If you go to
Yeah.
penalties, it's as far as I know, this is like 30 minutes and then penalties, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So
Yes.
that's the thing. I don't want to give Messi an extra 30 minutes to figure out how to beat us.
Yeah.
It's that's how you
You don't,
that's how you win this game.
yeah, you definitely don't want to do that for sure.
Maybe yeah. Maybe the last question I have. I spoke with Danny Higginbottom last week. He correctly predicted that it would be Cincinnati and Miami in the next round. He suggested the best way to beat Messi is to cut off his supply chain. Do you believe that hype?
So, yes, I do believe, in terms of cutting off a supply chain, I think you have to figure out how to disconnect him from Jordi Alba, because he is an extremely important outlet for him. And then Luis Suarez. They just know how to find the spaces and the spots for Messi to kind of, figure out how to get the ball to them. Busquets, you're not going to really have to harp too much attention on. Philly tried to do that with Gazdag and they got destroyed. So
Mhm.
that doesn't work. And in reality, once you get to the final third, as long as you can be able to kind of fit in those choke points and make sure that Messi has no one to give the ball to other than maybe Allende, and just have a coin flip 50-50, whether he makes it or blows it. Those would be the important defensive changes that I think could be made for Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's going to require, I think, a lot of effort. I fear the edges sometimes if Luca Orshano is in there, and to some extent, if Echenique gets, his energy is depleted, and you have to bring in Alvis Powell. I worry about those late game heroics from the edges. Well, we'll see if they can pick it up, but
I'll tell you this much: Allende, who's in the right wing, would cause fits for Orellano. Orellano to me is great, but defensively, he's a super liability. So that guy Allende, who literally he has one move in his fanny pack, and that's get behind the line and just blast it whenever you get the look. And hopefully you make it. If not, you're blowing it over the fences. But he gets to those spots. And against a smaller left back like Orellano, who's not great defensively, that's going to be pretty dangerous for you guys.
Yeah, that's why I think that the play of Hadebe is going to be important. If he can back up Orellano at those late moments of the game, then I think you've got yourself a critical blocking position right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm going to predict a 3-2 Cincy win. I think, bizarre as it sounds, I think we get 3 past Novo Rocco there. What's your prediction?
I'm actually going to go with a 4-3 win. I think that this is just going to be a slobber knocker and just goal central. Like whatever the line is that Vegas is giving you for the goals for the whole game, just go up, because it's not going to be lower than what the mark is. I think it's going to be 4-3 Inter Miami wins. I think that this is going to be a goal fiesta, and I'm hoping that it comes out 4-3 with an Inter Miami win for sure.
A golazo fiesta, hopefully.
Yes.
It'd be, if we can get 3 past Miami. That's weird saying. I don't even know if it's a win or not. It's going to be very productive. I'm praying it's going to be very productive. The best thing we need here in Cincinnati is a very competitive win. I don't want to see a 4-1 victory either way. I don't think that helps the product.
I don't think so either. And I mean, I'll be honest. I think whoever makes it out of this series is going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's going to make it to the finals for the MLS Cup.
I was about to say whoever wins is in the Eastern Conference.
Whoever wins is going. Yeah. No, I think whoever it is getting past whoever comes out of Philly or New York. So I don't think that they're going to give much competition to either team.
Yeah, we'll see. The thing about Cincinnati is they haven't been able to figure out either of those two teams this season. So we'll see. Crossing my fingers.
The difference is that neither team are going to have to play in the Bronx. So that's a win right there in general anyway.
That's a good point. Thank goodness. I don't want to play in the Bronx anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to thank you, man. We're coming to the end of this podcast for all of your time and dedication to the product. Absolutely. Where can we find you guys if we wanted to ever if we wanted to roll around and see your podcast in action?
Well, if you ever want to listen about Inter Miami, and there's a lot of people listening for Messi, so you don't have to come by for Messi. You can come by for Inter Miami stuff. Just go to Battered Herons on YouTube, Twitter, Napster, iTunes, whatever platform you guys use. There's batterfans.com. You can buy a shirt. We have a shirt for Cincinnati that says "Believe" in the colors of Cincinnati. So check that out. And then we also do a Battered MLS fans, just covering MLS in general. And if you guys speak a little Espanol, you can come by and watch us at Las Garzas on YouTube. So check us out. It's a fun time, like always.
I've been trying to bone up on my my Portuguese. Hopefully, talk a little bit with Evander and Brenner in the next matchup.
Listen, if you learn Portuguese, you're just 5 steps away from learning Spanish. So it's a good language to learn.
Was it Sim?
Sim. Sim, is that yes?
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay. Oh, well, you know what? Cut off the M and you just said yes in Spanish. See.
There we go. Duolingo for life.
Yes.
So, once again, I want to thank you for your time, guys. If you want to listen to more of our podcasts, check us out. We're on X, we're on Blue Sky. You can check us out on our websites. You can even support us, become a Patreon. we'll happily accept your donations so that we can get the best product that we can out the door. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Kris and the Battered Herons, on behalf of everybody all over the world, we're glad to have you listen every week. Keep your kits clean, but let's fight for another 90 plus 30 maybe in the next week. Thank you very much for your time, Kris.
Thank you.